Welcome to BettorsBet, where we bet better. My name's Alec.
And I'm Gage.
Today we're going to go over the Week 6 NFL slate, starting with tonight's Thursday night game. And I think we are in for a doozy.
As long as it's better than last Thursday, that's all that matters.
See, I've seen a lot of memes online between yesterday and this morning where everyone looks at the Commanders and the Bears, and they look at this matchup, they look at the teams and what their offenses have put out on the field, and everyone's taking this as a throwaway game, especially after last week.
No, 100. If we just look at the receiving core of Washington, there's going to be a lot of splash plays. 100%.
I think we are in for a makeup game from last week, honestly. Diving into the game really quickly, Bears are sitting currently as a 1-point favorite at a minus 106, with the total sitting at 37.5 at a minus 115. 65% of the tickets and 74% of the money are on the spread for Chicago. 65% of the tickets and 80% of the money are on that under. For money line, both teams are sitting at minus 108. It's pretty dead even. Chicago has 61% of those bets and 60% of the money on the money line. All the money is riding on Chicago here in this matchup. I was able to find one trend here. Bears are 1-9 division conference home favorites versus an opponent off of the 3-point straight up loss. The Commanders lost by 4 last week against the Titans. Mm-hmm. I believe this to be a game that goes against what everyone was thinking. Just like I said earlier, I don't see another under in this game. But week 5 into this in the Thursday night matchups, it's 1-4 to the under.
Really?
I'm a believer in the law of averages.
Okay.
Last week, in my video on Better Bets on my YouTube channel, I was talking about taking the 49ers in the over, right? Why did I take the over? Well, for one, typically Panthers put up points against NFC West teams. So I liked that trend. And I also like the way that 49ers run the ball, especially with Carolina's defense. It's not that great.
Yep.
They were 0-4 to the under. They had not had a game go under. There's another game this week that we'll talk about a little later that's going to follow that same trend. I followed it last week, didn't get it. It was a primetime game, and those primetime games tend to go under. So, I don't know. I personally think with the Thursday night game sitting at 1-4 to the under, we're due for an over here.
You know, I think especially with how these quarterbacks have been playing, Carson Wentz, Justin Fields, they tend to have great games, and then they tend to just, suck it up. Put their arms are in the shitter, right?
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, when teams like this, whether it's Washington and Chicago, or you got Detroit and the Jets, whenever these teams for some reason come together, it's a shootout. So I'm with you. I'm going against the trend here, and I think tonight we're going the over, and I honestly think Washington's going to take it.
That's exact. I believe the same thing. I'm thinking Commanders in the over is the play here tonight. I mean, I'm not making that an official play. I'm definitely leaning that way. I'm going to throw some money on it for sure. Not an official play, but I like it.
Okay, I'm with you. What do we got?
Next game we're looking at, San Francisco and Atlanta. This is a doozy, and I really like this matchup.
Let's hear it.
I really like this matchup. San Francisco's a 5.5-point favorite at minus 112. The total's sitting at 44.5 at a minus 110. 62% of the tickets are on the 49ers, but 85% of the cash is on Atlanta to cover.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
They're the only team in the NFL that are unbeaten against the spread. They are 5-0 ATS. But we'll get back to that in a second.
Okay.
58% of the tickets are on the under, with the money currently split 50-50. 93% of the tickets are on San Francisco money line at minus 240, but 94% of the money is on Atlanta to win outright at almost plus $2, plus $1.98.
Okay, so all facts and stats aside, I feel like San Francisco does a lot what Pittsburgh does. They play to the level of their opponent, and it ends up kicking them in the butt. I think, I don't know what you're going to say next year, but I honestly don't see Garoppolo playing how he should against Atlanta.
Does he really need to? I don't believe he really needs to. When you look at San Francisco's offense, they have the sixth best rushing. They're the sixth best rushing team in the league.
Okay.
you don't need Garoppolo to do anything but be what he has always been, and that is a game manager. San Francisco got to the Super Bowl on the same style of team, albeit they lost to the Chiefs.
Rightfully so.
But it's the same dynamic. It's the same formula. Kyle Shanahan knows what he's doing. And here's another interesting fact that I have for you. This is Kyle Shanahan's first trip back to Mercedes-Benz Stadium since the 2016 NFC Championship game.
Okay, so he's out for blood.
He's out for blood. This is not the first matchup between the two teams, but both games have been in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this spread to be a bit of an overreaction to the comeback that never was due to that roughing the passer last week. Remember, Atlanta went for the 2, got it. They were only down 6. They had the sack on Tom Brady to get to fourth down and get the punt.
You can't have plays like that. That was a heartbreaker for sure.
I mean, there was a couple of roughing the passer penalty calls that were really suspect last week.
Football's amazing, and Cam Hayward on the Steelers actually on his podcast said you can't have that in the game.
No.
Because it's not consistent. A lot of people looking at that play are going to say it was only called. Why? Because it was Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And with plays like that happening, and especially when it can change the outcome of a game or the outcome of somebody's parlay, it needs to get corrected.
I definitely think there should be a way for them to review.
Yep.
If it's a roughing the passer. I don't necessarily know how, in the case with the Tom Brady sack, how you really tell, because you play it at slow motion, you play it at game time speed. I mean, you're making a judgment call.
Yeah, there needs to be some type of guidelines as to timing, I would think. I think how the tackle occurs, as long as it's not the helmet, should be fine. The fact that he swung him down around the waist.
But here's the thing. He rolled off of him. He never put his body weight onto him.
That's what I'm saying. So, that shouldn't be even a factor into it. Is it if someone's going to tackle him hard and the body weight is on to him, that's just an NFL tackle and we need to get over it.
The strip sack of Derek Carr, that wasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't even put his whole body weight. He stuck his leg into the ground to relieve his weight going into him, and they still called it. I understand they're trying to protect the quarterbacks. We're in a state in the league where these guys can play for 20-plus years if they're sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good for the game?
I think that's a conversation to not have on this podcast. At least not right now.
But moving forward, one thing that really jumps out to me in this San Francisco-Atlanta matchup is how the total has risen to 44.5 when it was set at 42.5 in a market where the higher percentage of the tickets are on the under, but the money is split. So you have a higher percentage of the tickets bet on the under, money split 50-50, but the total rose by 2 from 42.5 to 44. That intrigues me.
I still want the under.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
But let's hear what's intriguing.
Let me read into some trends really quickly before I get into that.
Okay.
Atlanta is 2-10 to the under after they play the Buccaneers. Kyle Shanahan's first trip back to Atlanta. Again, both games were played twice in San Francisco.
Okay.
49ers are 1-9 to the under as favorites of less than 10 points after scoring more than 35 points.
So trends show the over.
No, trends are leaning towards the under.
Okay.
It's 2 overs, 10 unders, 1 over, 9 unders.
Okay.
In those two trends.
Okay, I like the explanation. For those of you who didn't also know.
I'm leaning in a 49ers against the spread cover, as again, I'm a believer in these laws of averages.
Okay.
Atlanta is 5-0 ATS, and with Shanahan returning to Mercedes-Benz for the first time since 2016, I just see this as a spot where this game goes under, and you see You see San Francisco win by 6.
And cover.
Yeah, the spread's 5.5. I see them. They win by 6. Game goes under. And I am making San Francisco Atlanta under 44.5 in official play.
Okay, so I'm with you on the official play of the under, 100%.
Yep.
I wasn't with you at first when I had assumed that San Francisco wouldn't cover, but I think you convinced me because you're right. They don't need Garoppolo to do that.
They don't.
They don't. And with Cordarrelle Patterson out, there's really no playmakers, at least in my eyes, big enough to make an impact for Atlanta.
They have Drake London, who's great, don't get me wrong. San Francisco's defense is just a lot better.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts, Atlanta does not utilize Kyle Pitts.
No, and it's a shame.
It is a shame.
Every group chat, every Twitter thread, every fantasy owner of Kyle Pitts is just, there's no production. So you can't even really put that into your play here.
No.
There's too much of a trend already into what are we going into week 6?
Yep.
Of just low production. So you're safer off considering him as a non-factor. I feel like at this point.
Absolutely. And I feel like San Francisco's D is going to do a great job of containing Mariota.
Yeah.
They're going to limit him. They're going to shut him down. They're going to own time of possession. And remember, when you run the ball, what happens faster?
The game ends. The clock moves.
Which means the under looks a lot better.
100%.
So our next matchup that we're going to talk about, we got New England at Cleveland.
I hate Cleveland. I hate him. I've always hated him. Myles Garrett should never hit anybody with a helmet.
Not even Mason Rudolph?
No. As much as he's a terrible quarterback. And I would rather have Duck Hodges on my team other than Mason Rudolph. No. I hate Cleveland. Okay, go on.
Diving into the game, Cleveland's a 2.5-point favorite at a -112 with the total
Bullshit.
sitting at 43.5 at a -106. You have 61% of the tickets on New England, but 52% of the cash on Cleveland.
Okay. Before we get into anything further, I just want to ask you right out the gate.
Yep.
Over under. What do you think on this game? Because you have the Belichick defense, but you have Cleveland that somehow scores more than you would anticipate, but then losing, meaning there's a lot of overs that look good, right? But the Belichick defense. I mean, even Cleveland D too. I want to hear what you think.
See, I really pick my spots every single week, right? This is a game I don't have any trends on. You know, Cleveland has lost 2 of their first 3 home games. I don't.
Well, you can blame that on Buddy the Elf.
Yeah,
Garbage.
Hey, Jets pulled one out on that day. That's for sure. I don't like this. I don't like this matchup. Nothing intrigues me here. I would lean taking Cleveland money line, especially after the Patriots defense shut down the top performing offensive team in the Lions. Yes, I know the Lions, but
that's just weird to hear.
Statistics are statistics.
Top offense, the Lions.
Top offense, the Lions. Worst defense, the Lions. So they got it on both ends.
So this isn't going to be a play for you because there's too much 50-50, right? But it's almost enticing to me with the money line favoring, you said Cleveland, correct?
So I haven't even talked about the money line yet. So 61% of the tickets are on Patriots to cover the 2.5.
Okay.
But 52% of the cash is on Cleveland to cover the 2.5.
Okay.
So there's more bets in.
So Cleveland are the dogs.
No. Cleveland's the favorite.
Okay.
Cleveland's the 2.5-point favorite, but the Patriots have more tickets bet on them, but Cleveland has more money.
And
honestly,
and I think I'm with kind of the rest of the world then, and thinking that Belichick's defense and the third string 7th round pick Zappy is gonna pull one out And yet again, Cleveland is going to lose, and Buddy the Elf is going to go crying back to Santa.
That would be very interesting to see if the Browns go 1-4.
I like dogs on my parlays. That the money's there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of doing parlays in general. I'll do teasers.
What's $5 to make $100,000? If it hits, right?
I mean, yeah, sure. It's fun. It's fun money. I look at this more as an investment and taking the time to really pick your spots, understand why you're taking what you're taking, and then see, like last week, for an example, right, was the best week in the NFL that I've ever personally had.
Well, and that's why people come here to watch, because they want to see the statistics, they want to see the trends, right? Yeah. And that's how you make money over time.
That's how you, exactly.
But if you want to make big money, you take Zappy, Belichick, and the Pats, throw it on a parlay this week, and they're going to beat Cleveland. You mark my words on that.
I want everyone to know that it is not sustainable to get rich quick in sports betting. Can you? Absolutely.
100%.
But I guarantee you take money and start throwing it on more parlays, and then before you know it, law of averages comes into play, and you lose everything you won.
Yeah, no, week 2 this year. But anyways, we're not going to talk about it. But we got 2 people here, 2 opinions, 2 ways to bet. Obviously, one is better than the other. But if you
I'm not saying like my teams are better. I think strategy in betting is better.
I'm just saying your strategy's better. I just like to have fun. So,
hey, here on Better Bets, we bet better. I told you guys this. We just bet better.
All right, let's get.
That's gonna take us into the next matchup. It's gonna be the Jets at Green Bay. You got Green Bay sitting at a 7-point favorite at -115, with the total sitting at 45.5 at -110. 55% of the tickets and 65% of the cash are on the New York Football Jets.
Really?
Yes, they are. 76% of the tickets and 71% of the cash are on the over.
Wait, you know what? I could see why, because Zach Wilson is that dog.
I mean,
he grittied on my Pittsburgh Steelers.
I mean, hey, Saleh did say he was keeping tabs on everyone who was disrespecting the Jets. So don't you dare disrespect the Jets. Ha.
He's a dog.
But, Zach Wilson's out here banging moms and just slinging TDs, so,
getting tuds.
Tutties. But yeah, I think this is something. This is a spot where you can fade the Jets. You have 85% of the tickets and 75% of the cash on Green Bay money line at -345.
Okay, and what do you mean by fade for the viewers who don't know?
Fade meaning you can lean against the Jets. The Jets have been hot. They're on the road in Green Bay, who just lost to the New York Football Giants across the pond.
And if you watch Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show every week, he is out for blood this week.
Hey, I think it's just a damn shame that it had to be 2 New York football teams back to back, because if one got the outright win, where in the second half, let's be honest, Green Bay should have just ran the ball. Why are they throwing it so dang much?
Because Aaron Rodgers did too much ayahuasca and wants to.
Is he trying to pat those stats?
Exactly.
Against the New York Giants?
He saw his future was not as the number 1 quarterback when he retired, so now he's trying to change that.
So I definitely see that being the case where Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, they haven't really gotten it so together yet. Still a lot of time in the season. Remember, RELAX.
Relax.
Yeah.
Took me a second.
Don't you remember the famous RELAX from Aaron Rodgers when they had that poor start? What was it? Not last year, but 2 years ago? Or was it last year?
When they absolutely got destroyed week 1?
Yeah.
Last year.
RELAX. This Giants team, Giants, oh my goodness. Let's get it together. This Green Bay Packers team, I think they will find a spot eventually Aaron Rodgers is going to get these young receiving core on the same page.
Yeah, I think that's what's taken them so long is Aaron Rodgers doesn't do training camp. He doesn't play preseason. So when you have rookie wide receivers like Dobbs or Lazard, who's coming back from injury, and you don't have time with them, it's very different from someone catching passes versus someone catching a pass from Aaron Rodgers.
Timing, velocity, looks.
Yep.
It's all different. It's not the same from guy to guy to guy. Why do you think these guys spend so much time in the offseason just trying to get it together?
Yeah, and I think 6 weeks in, they're going to start picking it up. I mean, you already see Lazard having some boom games in fantasy. Dobbs is picking it up as well. When Aaron Jones is running the ball good and also, working well in the passing game, you see it come together.
I got a question for you. How many yards do you think Aaron Jones is averaging per carry right now?
Less than he should be, because he's only had two breakout games.
He's averaging
like 2.5,
6.7 yards per carry.
But his yards are low, so they're not using him. Is what you're saying?
I don't know. 6.7 yards per carry. I knew you would not know this.
No, I would. He's on my fantasy league or my fantasy team in two leagues, and this man ain't. the points don't show 6.7.
He's not scoring.
I'm just saying that's probably why they're
losing.
He's
not getting all the touches.
They're not giving him touches.
Well, I mean, they split the touches. He's not getting all the touches, but he's averaging 6.7 yards per carry. There is a trend I like in this game. Green Bay is 8-0 as favorites off versus an opponent off a double-digit straight-up win. The Jets won 40-17 last week against Miami, against the third-string quarterback. I don't even remember a guy's name.
Yeah, not Bridgewater. It's all in.
Exactly. So I like that trend. And here's another one. The Jets are 0-7 after scoring more than 28 points. The Jets scored over 28 points. Next week they lost. I like that trend. Green Bay 8-0 as favorites versus opponent off a double-digit straight-up win. Jets blew out the Dolphins last week 40-17. Jets are 0-7 after scoring more than 28 points. I like Green Bay here. Not going to make that an official play. I would look to tease this game. 6-point tease. Get the Packers the -1 just to be safe. Offense is still looking to put it together. But give me Green Bay by 1 at home on a teaser all day.
After what I saw the New York Football Jets do to my poor Pittsburgh Steelers, I honestly... I was thinking we're going to see a different Jets against a Green Bay that's been struggling. That was my initial take.
Okay.
But after hearing that 0-7 play that has occurred after they've scored 28 points, and the fact that we are a month and a half into football, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to finally get it together. I watch him every week on the Pat McAfee show. I think him and Dobbs and Lazard are going to get it together. Cobb, too, the old man that could.
He's performing
absolutely
at a fantastic rate.
And I think with the way the Jets seem to just throw stuff away, I think finally Aaron Rodgers is going to have enough time, big enough lead to where him and his cute little coach that they have signals to on the sideline are going to get Aaron Jones the ball. I would even say 1.5 times more than we're used to this week.
I guarantee you they run the ball more because I guarantee you they looked at the film last week and they said,
we blew it.
We should have ran.
Absolutely blew it.
So they're going to, I believe they are going to get a lead and they're going to run the ball. They're going to play to win the game.
Yep, 100%. Sweet. All right, so with Green Bay, it's a teaser maybe, but as far as who you think's going to win, you're taking the Packers.
Outright win. Absolutely, I think the Packers win the game. I mean, there's no value in taking them on a money line at a -345.
Yeah, not at all. All right, moving on.
Leads us into Jacksonville at Indianapolis. The Colts are a 1.5 point favorite at a -110.
How?
The total sitting at 42.5 at minus 110. 57% of the tickets are on Jacksonville, but 63% of the money is on Indianapolis.
Okay.
78% of the tickets and 96% of the money is on the under. 61% of the tickets and 67% of the money on the Colts money line at minus 128. I do have a trend here. Since 2018, there's been 9 matchups, and the home team has won every single game.
So who's at home?
Indianapolis.
So are you going with the trend here, or are you going against
I went with the trend in week 2. I went with the trend in week 2.
Okay.
Since 2018, every home team has won the game. The Colts are 1-5 against the spread, but this is 1.5 point game. Could it be a 1 point game? Sure. I'm not going to make it an official play, but I definitely lean that way.
I like the odds of that, though.
I think it is a great bet to just take the Colts at minus 128. You're paying 18 cents off the $1.10 for 1.5 points.
Okay.
I like that. Jacksonville's 1-8 versus an opponent off of a straight-up dog win. What did the Colts do last week in that disgusting game on Thursday?
Dog.
They won outright.
Yep.
In a game with no tutties.
Well, I mean, can you blame them? Who the hell did they play? Say it. I want to hear you say it.
Bronco country, let's ride.
Let's ride. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man.
Look, I don't know.
Broncos fans, I'm sorry.
I don't know what the numbers are here. I got a good friend who's a Broncos fan, and anytime they're playing, we'll chat back and forth. So I pay attention every week to the Broncos. Could they be any more dog water in the red zone?
No. I mean, the only thing that we could see that would make them worse are the turnovers from like the first week. They haven't turned the ball over in the red zone anymore. They're getting field goals.
I wouldn't turn the ball over either if I couldn't even move the ball.
Yeah. It is so hard to watch, and what is crazy is they keep getting primetime games.
I don't think the NFL, when they made the schedule, realized
how bad they were going to be. I don't think so either.
I think they were thinking it was going to be one of those Manning moments where Manning goes to Denver and now the Broncos are back in it again, because that's the only time the Broncos are good is when they pay a quarterback who's a vet. But anyways,
Russell Wilson is in no way Peyton Manning.
Yeah, so
by any means.
Let's get off the. Let's stop riding the Broncos right now. Let's get back to this game. So let's hear it.
Indianapolis plays Tennessee next week on the road. So I see this as a game that Indianapolis has to win.
It's a
division game. Every home team has won. They have a tough game next week. They are trying to win this game.
I think Indianapolis is a great team. I think after week 1, when they tied, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone was saying, like, Colts are terrible. The Colts are garbage. And then since then, they've had good weeks.
I think their defense steps up big time.
100%. I think that they have a solid defense. They have great playmakers. I think the issue is Matt Ryan's getting old. He just doesn't play the same way Matt Ryan used to with Julio Jones and the Falcons, right? Yeah. Now you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have shocked everybody through the first 6 weeks. Do they start 4-0? 3-0? No? Am I off base here? Either way, they've started solid. Trevor Lawrence is showing us that he is who they thought he was, after a really crappy rookie season.
I don't know if he's proven that quite yet.
I mean,
he's definitely having a better sophomore season.
I'm not saying he's an elite quarterback, but he can play football, right? And we're seeing the growth from last year. You have
they actually have a head coach.
Yeah, and when you have people, is it Zay Jones, wide receiver, rookie, or newer guy?
I mean, Zay Jones came from the Raiders.
Okay, my bad. Either way, new to me. Dude's putting up numbers.
Yes.
Okay, he's a nice little fantasy pickup. Robinson, running back, had a shitty week last week, but other than that, he's put up 15, 20 points.
He had a couple big blowout games.
So, I'm with the way the Indianapolis Colts run defense is, I don't see them having that strong of a game, which is the only reason why I think Indianapolis gets through this game a winner.
Yeah.
I think if they didn't have the run defense that they had, I think Jacksonville wins this game.
I think they're going to be able to put pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Just simple as that. They're going to be able to make that team one-dimensional, and then they're going to be able to do what they want on the ball. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout because traditionally the Colts don't cover the spread. They are 1-5 in the last 6.
Yeah.
But they win the game. So paying the 18 cents off of the 1.5. Give me the Colts money line at minus $1.28. I love that play.
Okay. What's next?
We're looking at Minnesota at Miami. Minnesota's a 3.5-point road favorite at a minus 112, with the total sitting at 45.5 at a minus 110.
So this could get interesting because if you get your bets earlier in the week with the Dolphins as the dog, I heard Tua may play this weekend. Quite possibly. So we have to see, if you get your money in early on this.
I think that's a big what if to put your money on this game.
Okay, and that's why I wanted to ask you.
I think they're dying to know. That is a big what if to put your money on this game.
Okay. So are we going to discuss this as if Tua is not playing?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this game as if Teddy's not playing.
Yeah, Minnesota all day. Justin Jefferson's going to have a field day.
Interesting enough, tickets are split 50-50. 72% of the cash is on Miami.
Do you think that's because they think Tua's coming back? Do you think it has anything to do with how that's betting?
I believe bettors in the market right now are looking as if Teddy is going to be playing.
Okay.
Not necessarily Tua. Tua's in a tough situation. I actually read a few articles where there's been some doctors that have told him to retire.
Really?
Suffering 2 major concussions in the span of 4 days, there have been a couple of doctors that have come out and told him to retire at 24.
Well,
for his health.
If his head injury is anything like Antonio Brown's after he got hit by Vontaze Burfict, I would say he needs to retire too.
That's another that is something for a different podcast, man. That's Antonio Clown over there. I don't know what else to say. But 72% of the cash is on Miami. 70% of the tickets and 80% of the money is on the under. So we're looking at a game to go under the 45.5. I do have a trend for you. Miami's 4-0 after the Jets.
Really?
They are. They got meat mopped by the Jets last week, but they are 4-0 against the spread after the Jets.
Now, do you know when they're 4-0 after the Jets, do they have their starting quarterback?
See, and this is what I put in my notes here. If Teddy is not playing, I do not like this matchup. Teams have a tough time in Miami, but I don't see a way that Minnesota loses this game with their third-string rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Does Miami have weapons on offense? Yes. Does he know how to use them? No. Is Miami's defense so spectacular that they're going to stop Minnesota in a warm environment where they can get loose and play freely? I don't know, man. Jetta is a beast.
I think 3.5-point favorites it should be more, honestly. I like that. I like that a lot. Minnesota's too talented on the offensive side of the ball, and they're gonna force the rookie to make too many mistakes. I'm off here. I'm off this game. But if I had to pick a side, I'm picking Vikings to win. Yep, I'm with you.
Vikings to win. Heading into this next matchup here, we have Cincinnati and New Orleans. Now, remember earlier, I said I had another trend that I was going against. Law of averages here. This is that matchup.
Okay.
We have Cincinnati sitting at 1.5-point road favorites at a minus 110 with the total at 43.5.
Say that one more time.
Cincinnati is 1.5-point road favorites. They're on the road and they're the favorite.
1.5.
1.5. The total, 43.5. 84% of the tickets. 84% of the tickets are on New Orleans. 57% of the cash is on Cincinnati.
Okay.
57% of the tickets are on the over, but 78% of the money is on the under.
So more people have spent more money on the under.
So
Less tickets, but more money.
Correct, on the under. Now, Cincinnati is 0-5 to the under this year. They have not had a game all year go over the total.
And why do you think that is? Is that defense? Is that offensive miscues?
I think it's been offensive miscues. I mean, not saying that they've had the toughest matchups, but teams have been playing them really tough.
Yeah.
And remember, smoke and mirrors here.
A couple of games too, they were out, without T. Higgins, so that leads a lot of double coverage to go on Jamar Chase.
Exactly. So, looking at this matchup, I don't look at what the Seahawks were able to do to the Saints secondary in New Orleans.
Okay, let me throw an oddball at you though.
Yep.
So, or at least a question. So you're saying that Cincinnati has not gone over once this year.
Yep.
But I'm thinking that you want to go against the averages this week, and I'm thinking you want to do that, at least for me, primarily after what Taysom Hill did last week. I think he's going to do it again, which is going to force Cincinnati to have to score.
Which means that the game's going to have to go over.
It's going to go over, without a doubt. I think both teams.
It's at 43.5, dude.
That's not. If it was at 48, or 52, I would say, you know what, maybe let's do the under, right?
That's a big difference.
That's a big difference in points. I think at 42, I mean, somebody's bound to score 4 touchdowns this week. That's 28. And if it's a 28-14 game.
I do have one thing to point out to you before you say that you want to take the Saints.
I don't think I want to take the Saints. I do like the over.
I like that. I love the over. I am a man of the law.
I may be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I may not like Cincinnati, but Joey B is a dog. Okay, I don't
Big
like
DB.
I don't like
Joey
the Saints.
Burrow. I love Joe Burrow.
I
man.
think Taysom Hill is gonna do great this week. When he reigns, he then pours. Like he's known to do it back to back, and then he kind of slows down. But yeah, I like the Bengals this week with the over.
This is a tough spot for New Orleans this week. They have to play Arizona on the road on a short week on Thursday night.
Yeah, I don't think they're prepared to do either. I think those are 2 heavy opponents for them back to back.
I'm telling you what, I have another official play. I'm locking this over in at 43.5.
Okay. I don't want to give away what all my locks are going to be, but I have to. I like this too. Too much to not put it in a 5-team parlay. But also just a regular bet. Okay, you're good.
All right, love it. We're gonna just go straight into that next matchup: Baltimore at Giants. Baltimore's a 6-point road favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Minus 110.
Mm-hmm.
Totals at 44.5. Minus 110. 58% of the tickets and 86% of the money's on Baltimore to cover. 77% of the tickets and 63% of the money is on the over.
Okay. What trends you got for me? I want to see what you're.
Well, here's one more thing I want to say before I
thinking.
get into that. We have 77% of the tickets on Baltimore money line, but 84% of the cash on the Giants money line.
Okay.
At a plus 210. Before the closing line moved to 38.5 against Dallas a couple weeks back when they played on, what was it, Sunday night or Monday night?
Mm-hmm.
The Giants had 13 straight home games go under, dating back to week 8 of 2020 against Tampa Bay. 13 straight games in the Meadowlands went under.
Well, it's hard to score when you don't have a good team.
Yeah, but their defense actually holds up pretty dang well against some good teams that go into there.
Well, and that's what I was going to say next. Their defense is solid, and the Ravens, like a few other teams we've mentioned, they kind of play down to their opponent. You see Lamar Jackson play amazing when he has to, and when there's a team that they should blow out of the water, he struggles. You know, he puts up 100 and some passing yards. He'll run the ball, but his passing's not the greatest. So I see this being, especially with the way the Giants have been playing this year, with Saquon running into people's throats, I see it being close.
I see this game being close also. I like the Giants here plus the 6.
That's the tease.
No. 6 points is the spread.
That's the spread.
You can.
Okay,
I would feel a lot. I would feel comfortable teasing this game to. I like 6-point teases.
Yeah.
Having them plus 12 definitely would feel safer. But I'm leaning taking the Giants to cover that 6 because I think Justin Tucker kicks another game winner.
Yeah. He's the most consistent thing that the Baltimore Ravens have had for a decade, right? It's been that long. He's been kicking as long as I've been a Steelers fan, beating us and whatever.
How many times have you cried to Justin Tucker kicking a game winner against Shaw?
Definitely more than I've cried for the Browns doing anything.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, other than that, I don't have too many trends to dig in here into this matchup other than the Giants' defense at home.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where you got that line in that Sunday night game, I believe it was a Sunday night game against the Cowboys,
Mm-hmm.
It went under. I got it at 39.5 early, and it dropped to 38.5, a couple hours before kickoff. So it landed on 39. So if you got it late in the 38.5, you missed it by a hook.
Yep.
If you got it early, like I did, you won by the hook. So my trend, I still see them as 14 straight games as the under. I wrote that in here depending on where you got the game because I know a lot of people like to wait until right before kickoff to place their bets.
Yeah.
I am one of those people traditionally, but I also have started to put in some early tickets as well as waiting till last minute to see how those trends and where the market moves.
Okay.
So depending where you got that game, it's still under and that trend is still alive. But on to the next one. Got Tampa Bay at your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, should be phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to sit here and cry while you read what the spread and the money line is, but let's hear it.
Tampa Bay's 8.5-point favorites at a minus 106.
Yep.
Total of 43.5 at minus 115 to the over.
Okay.
They're juicing the over. They're giving the juice to the Steelers to cover 8.5. Tampa Bay has 74% of the tickets, but Pittsburgh has 77% of the cash to cover.
Okay.
64% of the tickets and 82% of the cash are on the over. The total sitting at 43.5, juiced at minus 115. 64% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on the over. Could this game go over? I don't know. I have not seen a Tampa Bay team that I trust to say, yeah, they're going to go score.
So I'm with you on the fact that I don't think Tampa Bay has been scoring as well as they should have been, or what you would think they would do, right? But they're playing my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers, who don't have a secondary to save their life. We play 10 to 15 yards back in zone coverage on third down every single time. I don't know what the number is because I'm scared to look at it, but I bet you our opponent's conversion rate on third down is closer to 100% than any other team. We cannot stop the pass. We may have some flashes of Minka Fitzpatrick in the middle of the field. We may have some flashes of stopping the run, but I think this week you are going to see Tom Brady look like Super Bowl Tom, or I'm sorry, he plays terrible in Super Bowls, but the Tom Brady that gets them to Super Bowls.
Okay.
I think Tom Brady's going to throw at least 250 yards, probably eclipse 3 touchdowns. Okay.
I mean, that's not Tom Brady getting them to the Super Bowl numbers. That's average NFL quarterback numbers.
I'm just saying.
But not the 3 touchdowns. Okay,
it works,
but not the 250.
He may
yards.
even throw 4 touchdowns. I see Tampa Bay scoring at least 21 points against us.
This is where I argue.
I don't think Pittsburgh's good enough.
Tampa Bay is injured. Tom Brady has personal issues off the field. His mind has always been on
I'm
football.
with you, right? I'm with you on all of that. I just think the Pittsburgh Steelers are so bad.
I have no interest in this matchup. I'm just arguing counterpoints.
Kenny Pickett is phenomenal, but they can't score. Matt Canada is the worst offensive coordinator to ever touch the NFL. And that goes back to when dudes were wearing leather helmets. I don't know. I don't like the over or the under because there is so much uncertainty. I don't trust my Steelers to score. I think our defense is terrible.
I have a lean on a teaser. I'm not even sure I would play this on a teaser yet, but I would lean to take Pittsburgh at plus 14.5. You're getting that hook on over 2 touchdowns. Tampa Bay has not beat a team by double digits yet this year. And
have they played a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers this year?
Without looking at, I don't know Tampa Bay's schedule off the top of my head. I couldn't.
I would just say the answer is probably no because nobody scores as little as the Steelers.
I'm just trying to think so far off the top of my head.
This is either going to be
remember.
like this is going to be.
But you're thinking of how
this is going to be a 13,
how they looked against the Bills last week.
No, I'm looking at everything else. We cannot score. We do not have one touchdown to a receiver this year.
That's tough.
Granted, Mitch Trubisky.
That's tough.
He's terrible. Okay.
Wait, you guys don't. I don't know if that's true. What about that Thursday night game against Miami?
No, there was a touchdown pass.
Not against Miami. Who was that against?
I don't know. I don't know. Couldn't even tell you because it's all a blur. It's just a lot of losing. But I know Deontay Johnson, I believe it was, center of the end zone, caught the ball and just had his toe out. No touchdown. Okay. We do not have a passing touchdown to one receiver this year. Kenny Pickett's going to get it done. I think it does happen this week.
What about Najee?
Najee has been – his average is less than our rookie running back, Jaylen Warren.
Really?
Jaylen Warren runs with a purpose, and he runs with power. And this dude wants to prove he's an NFL running back. Okay. I think Najee is one of the most talented and the most athletically talented players in the league. But when it comes to actually running the ball and making things happen, he is not who we think he is.
Okay.
What is he at? Do you have his average rushing yards?
I don't have Najee's average rushing yards. I was just asking you personally because it's your team.
It's in the 2 yards. He doesn't run. He does the Le'Veon Bell hesitancy where he waits and he stutters. But he waits and stutters this way. He does not. He'll miss holes. I mean, they've shown it. They'll show the flywire camera. He just doesn't see that the whole field is open to the right. I would like for him to get it together.
Is it a confidence issue?
I think that he thinks it's just going to be there, and he's not working for it. Like Jaylen Warren, who's a rookie and has to prove himself, is working for it.
Okay. Honestly, I haven't seen any, both teams this year are terrible against the spread. I haven't seen anything from the Bucs to blow anyone out. Could you be right? This is your team, bro. I would lean taking the points just because that's a lot of points. And this is the NFL.
You're saying Steelers to cover 8.5?
No, it'd be 14.5 on the teaser. I'm not leaning to the normal spread.
Yeah, no, I think the teaser, it could go either way, but this game could be the game where we see Pittsburgh finally be who they want to be in a sense, but it also could be just like another game where our defense can get looked off by Tom Brady, who's an elite quarterback, whether people are hurt or he's getting a divorce or not. I just think he's going to pick us apart, and that's that. We're going to end up being 1-5 through 6 weeks, and we just hope that Tua and Teddy B are injured still so we can maybe beat the Dolphins when we play them. I don't know. Makes me sad. I want to move on now before I start crying.
Sounds good to me.
I don't bet.
Sounds good to me. I am not interested in this game other than maybe leaning the teaser. So
next,
on to Carolina at the Rams. Rams are 10-point favorites at a minus 10 price. Total sitting at a 40.5, minus 110. Another game off the bat that I have zero interest in. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Carolina has 69% of the tickets, 94% of the money to cover that 10. And let's be honest, Rams offense does not look great.
No, I'm surprised they are the favorite. The spread is that big, basically.
Well, think about it. Carolina just fired Matt Rule. There's no Baker.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense. Rams are at home. It makes sense why the spread is 10. It truly does. I just don't have any interest in taking the Rams by 10.
Yeah, no, I don't either. Well, the reason I have no interest is I just feel like it could go either way, and it's 50-50. Like that's not enough for me to put my money on it.
No, literally. I mean, sitting here, Carolina has 69% of the tickets, 94% of the money to cover that 10, 54% of the tickets and cash on the over.
Okay.
So I don't really see a spot where the Rams lose.
Correct.
I don't see a spot where the Rams lose.
Yeah.
No.
I would maybe put them on a money line, but I wouldn't play the spread on this. Or
there's no value in that money line. Just like Green Bay sitting there.
Yeah.
Well,
I will if you're just doing a straight bet. I feel like if you're adding it to a big parlay.
Oh, just add the money line
straight
on for
just for odds, get an extra couple bucks. But yeah, I don't see it doing any.
No, yeah, not at all. I mean, Rams are 13-3 as the favorite versus an opponent off a double-digit straight-up loss, which they got blown out against the 49ers.
Yep.
Panthers just fired Matt Rule, and they're without Baker again. So I don't see anything but a Rams win here. There's no value anywhere on the board. I'm just going to let this one go.
Yeah, and on to the next.
On to that next one.
All right, who do we got up?
It's Arizona at Seattle. Arizona's a 3-point favorite at a minus 102. The total's sitting pretty high, 50.5. It's at a minus 110. 51% of the tickets are on Seattle. However, 52% of the money is on Arizona to cover.
Okay.
52% of the tickets are on the under, while 75% of the money's on the over.
See, that's scary. I feel like they're definitely going to score a lot, both teams, but I don't see it.
Well, remember this. I kind of like this total because of the spot Arizona's in.
Okay.
They have a short week where they play the Saints at home.
Okay.
So Arizona's on the road against Seattle. Seattle's let up a lot of points. Look at their last couple of games.
Yep.
High scores against New Orleans. High score against Detroit. They're giving up points. They're scoring points. Is Arizona's defense that great? No.
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a shootout between Kyler and Geno, for sure.
I mean, it could. I just like the spot where Arizona has to play in 4 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. When you look here, moneyline tickets are split 50-50, but 81% of the money's riding on Seattle plus that 130. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money on one side. Money talks, especially in the NFL. And I don't know. Maybe this is a middle game. Maybe this is a middle game where, it's a 2-point game. Something weird happens. Someone goes for 2 and doesn't get it. And, so those funky little scores. I could just see that being in this game. One thing to know is Arizona has had their last 3 games go under, and they typically play better as a road team, which is crazy. And this is their last game without DeAndre Hopkins, which they are desperately missing on offense.
They need it for sure.
Seattle has had their last 3 games go over. So you have Arizona on 3 games under, Seattle on 3 games over.
So which trend do you follow?
Exactly. I think I ride with the Seattle over trend because Arizona's the better road team.
Okay.
Seattle's going to score at home. Can the 12th man help out? Maybe. May keep it as a close game. That's why I like that middle right there, where maybe Arizona doesn't win by the 3 or technically the 4 to cover, but they win outright.
Seattle wins outright, you're saying?
No, Arizona wins outright, but they don't win by the 4 that it takes to cover the 3.
Okay.
Um,
You locking anything in from this? How do you feel?
If anything, I would look to tease the total down to 46.5.
Okay.
I'd feel safe in doing that.
Teasing it down and selecting the over?
Yep, taking the over 44.5. So you need 45 points.
Yeah. I could see that happening for sure. I don't think I would say I'm confident enough to put my money on it. It's not a lock for me. But I'm definitely between these two teams, initially I would say, you know what, I think Arizona's got it. But the way that Seattle has been playing and they score, I feel like Arizona scores a lot when trailing from behind. I think this is going to be too close, and Seattle's going to take it. There's going to be no need for crazy last-minute, stretches, I would say.
That's fair. I mean, Arizona's secondary isn't great. They still have DK. They still have Tyler Lockett. They are without Rashad Penny, but Kenneth Walker is a dog.
Yeah, and that's why I think they have tools and they work well within their system for sure.
That's why I like teasing the total down. I think it's a safe play.
Okay.
Moves on to the last game that we're going to talk about here. We're not talking about Sunday night. We're not talking about Monday night. But we are talking Buffalo at Kansas City.
What do they call this? The what parade? What are the Bills on?
You tell me.
Well, they're looking for revenge.
Oh, 100% they're looking for revenge. I like this spot. Buffalo's the favorite.
Oh, yeah.
They're the road favorite. 2.5 points.
First time Patrick Mahomes has been an underdog at home.
It's juiced at minus 115. And the total's sitting at 53.5.
Ooh. That's got to go over.
66% of the tickets, 61% of the cash on Kansas City to cover. 86% of the tickets with 58% of the cash on the over.
Okay. And you're going to tell me here, but is there any way this doesn't go over? I mean, I don't see it happening any other way. Kelsey, you saw it last week. Kelsey could score 3-4 touchdowns in no time at all. And the Bills just score.
Hear me out.
Okay, let's hear it.
Hear me out. Okay. The Bills are 6-0 away to the over after scoring 40 points. So they are 6-0 to the over when they are away after scoring 40 points.
And just to confirm,
how many points? How many points? Go ahead.
That means they go over. 6-0 to the over.
6-0 to the over after they score 40 points when they are away.
Okay.
They're away. How many points did they put up on your Steelers last week?
38. Let's just say they put up 28 against Kansas City, right? And Kansas City is trailing by a touchdown. 21-28 puts us at 49. You got to kick a field goal. Puts us at 52. What's the over on this?
It's 53.5.
Okay, so they need that touchdown.
So hear me out.
I think
I have a second trend. The Bills are also 7-1 to the over away versus the AFC West. But to backpedal off that trend a little bit, Kansas City is 3-15 to the under after playing the Raiders. Very emotional game.
Yeah.
Comeback win down 17-0. And I just have one thing to say. I see the Bills coming back to Arrowhead and getting their revenge in this spot. They didn't add this man Von Miller for nothing.
Yeah, you're right. Good point.
I'm leaning this game under. I so badly. I love betting against the public. These casinos weren't built on people winning money.
Yeah, no, not at all.
They're built on taking people's money. And I love being on the casino side, especially in big games like this.
So where does that put you? On the under?
I'm leaning Bills and the under.
Just for the sake of entertainment purposes, I mean, I'm sticking with the Bills on this one, but I'm going to go against you here. I'm taking the over. So I think it still is the game that we've all been waiting for that should have been a primetime game because all our primetime games have been garbage. So either way, I think this is going to make up for all the games that we thought were going to be great football to watch, and it just hasn't been that.
I'm so excited to watch this game. For one, I got hurt pretty bad last year on this game. I was on the Bills.
In the playoffs?
Yeah, and watching the Chiefs score that field goal with 16 seconds left on the clock
To go to overtime.
they won the game outright. Oh, no, you're right. To go to overtime, and then they won the game outright the next play.
Everybody was complaining that it went to overtime and they didn't get a chance.
Yeah. No, they kicked the
For
field
one
goal
time,
60
right?
seconds. Yeah, you're right.
Did we get that on video?
You did get that on video. You got that on video. However, yes, they score 16 seconds left. They tie the game. They get the first possession. Game over.
Yep.
That hurts beyond belief. I could only imagine how Josh Allen feels, and imagine taking that into this game.
Yep. Especially the way he's been playing with a chip on his shoulder, just straight dog.
And the Bills are just a more complete team than they were last year.
I don't see how they don't win the Super Bowl this year unless there's crazy injuries that happen.
And
It's just that's just the only way to look at it.
The playoffs in themselves are their own story.
Yeah.
Because look at last year. You had 2 4 seeds in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, anything goes.
that's fair.
Anything
I'll take
goes. Before we let you go, can't let Gage leave here without giving us 5 plays to add to his record so we can track his units.
Going Washington, Chicago on the over.
Over the 37 and a
Yep.
half?
And
Okay.
shout out to Washington's receivers to make it happen.
All righty. So what's your second play? So we have your first pick as Chicago, Washington, over the 37 and a half.
Yep. And then second lock, Green Bay covers the spread against the Jets.
You're taking Green Bay -7, so they got to win by 8.
Yep.
7 is a push.
Yep. I think with the loss that Aaron Rodgers took last week, he wants to prove that not only can they win, but they can win with elite fashion. And I think and I hope that LaFleur, is that his name?
Matt LaFleur.
I think they are going to realize we need to feed Aaron Jones the ball. So that's my second lock.
Okay. Third lock.
Third lock, I'm going to take a money line on this one. Okay? I'm going Pats over Cleveland because,
Taking the dog money line.
yep, just the Patriots are going to win. Buddy the Elf has not been good for Cleveland.
Okay.
They can't win at home.
I think you're letting your emotions take control of this.
Well, you
pick
know what? That's
as a
why
Steelers
I am
fan.
who I am, and you are who you are.
Yeah.
So that was my third lock.
Okay. So Patriots money line is the dogs. All righty.
Yeah.
So we have those 3 picks. What is your 4th pick?
I gotta go Minnesota over Miami. They're gonna cover the spread. 3.5 points is that's like a gimme. They're gonna win by at least 10.
Okay.
Too much talent. There's just no Tua, no Teddy, no Tutties. It's just not gonna happen for Miami.
No Tua, no Teddy, no Tutties.
It's not gonna happen.
I mean, could Teddy play potentially? Maybe. I mean,
The way it is right now, I think with Teddy,
we haven't seen enough of Teddy.
they're gonna lose, man. I played with Teddy enough in Madden. He's gonna throw interceptions. Okay.
Okay.
Last one of the week here. It's a big one. Number 5.
Number 5. What are you locking down?
What's the over on that Arizona-Seattle game? 50.5?
Yep. 50 and a half.
I think at 50.5, I'm going to be a little crazy. I'm gonna go the under on that one.
Okay.
I might regret that one, but it's better than taking Pittsburgh because who knows what the hell they're gonna do.
I would not take. Maybe tease them and get them over the 2 touchdowns, but that's about even that I'm on the fence about.
Okay.
So,
well, those are my locks.
So we got 5 plays from Gage. We have Chicago, Washington over 37.5. We have New England money line.
Yep. That one, I love that one. That's just like feels good.
We have Green Bay by 7, so they got to win by 8 to cover. Then we have Minnesota by 3.5.
That's easy money.
And then you have Arizona, Seattle under.
Yeah, and you know what? I like this so much. I'm gonna parlay all 5 of those separately myself. Let's do it. Let's do it together. Let's all make money. If we lose, can't blame me. 50.5, who knows? But I'm confident.
Confident?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll put a bill on that this week.
I would love to see that hit. That would pay out something fat, especially with a dog. Especially with a dog.
That's what I'm saying.
I will not be on that parlay, but I will definitely be rooting for his parlay. Unless it's against one of my locks, then I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry.
We'll see. You think I can beat you this week? You think our first week together I'll have a better record than you?
That would be very interesting to see. That'd be very interesting to see. I mean, I feel so good coming into this week with how I did last week. I feel like I'm riding high, but that's also...
Dude, you last week was...
That's also something that you have to be aware of. You can't every week starts 0-0. You have to put the same amount of work in.
Yep.
So very interested to see how this week plays out. I'm very interested to see Chicago, Washington go over that 37.5 tonight.
Oh.
Not locking it down as a confirmed play, but I will be putting some money on it. I will sprinkle in probably a unit on it. My units are $55.
Okay.
At a minus 110, 55 wins 50. I may also even sprinkle, can't really call it half a unit because I'm not putting like $27.50 on it. But I'm going to put $20 on a little 2-team same game parlay. I'm going to take Commanders money line.
Let's do it together.
All right, I'm down.
Let's do it.
Commanders money line in Washington.
Chicago. Tonight we are Washington D.C. fans.
Hey, I hope Carson Wentz can do something. I mean, I did show you that stat on.
He goes off.
Carson Wentz on Thursday nights is he's just built different.
He's another animal.
It's not the dude you see on Sundays. That's for sure.
I also think he's gonna go off because Ron Rivera called his ass out this week. Did you see that?
I did not.
So they ask him. They go, "What is the difference within your division? Right? What is the difference between your team being like the Cowboys and the Giants? Why are you? What's the difference between your team and their team? Right? With their quarterbacks, right? Because they got Daniel Jones and then you got Cooper Rush. What is the difference?" And Ron Rivera sits up there and he goes, "The quarterback."
So Carson Wentz is going into this Thursday game after being put on blast.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's got a lot. He's got something to prove, and if he doesn't, which I'm hoping he does, my money will be on it. Is that a call to action to maybe? What is the backup quarterback's name? He was playing there last year. He wears number 4. The dude who idolized
Washington.
Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't even tell you. Washington's the least of my concerns. So,
dude, this is literally going to drive me insane because I can't remember this.
The chat's just going to go wild. How do you not know?
Exactly.
Mr. Better Bet.
How do I not know? Honestly, because when Carson Wentz came into town, I really forgot about him. But they were. It was the dude who came from the one of the lower leagues that got canceled.
Should we ask Siri?
Yeah.
Siri, who is the backup quarterback for the Washington Commanders? Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke.
How
That
did
is
we
it.
forget?
I literally was going to drive me insane.
You got number 4 right.
Yeah. I could see his face. I'll never forget that diving play he made into the end zone last year. Man was a baller.
Dog.
It might be Heineke time if Wentz doesn't perform here tonight, then, if he's getting called out by his head coach.
That's fair, honestly. And before we go, I think we say dog a lot because that's just like his slang nowadays, but it's used a lot by other shows. So this next week, we have to figure out what we're going to call
Like the underdogs?
dogs.
Like the underdogs?
Just people who are just dirty.
Just
straight nasty with it.
Okay,
So,
we got to. So between today's show and the next week's,
and then we need their. If you've made it this far, we got to know what are we calling them? Animals. See, it's too long. We need to. We'll figure it out.
We need to have a good coined term.
All right.
For the show for
next
these
week.
animals.
Next week we're gonna have them.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to say before we go, if you did make it this far into the video, I'd like to personally thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I really appreciate it. If you like what you see, we're not here selling picks. We're not selling plays. We're just having good conversation. If you like what you see, make sure to give it a like, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you're on, plays you may like, and just join the conversation.
That's what we want.
Yeah. If you like what you see, just pay the fee. But, here on Better Bets, we bet
better.